There are different ways of authorising and deauthorising power, both within and between black and white, but also within our own respective communities around the space. We do it with ourselves, Aboriginal people, by the black measure. Where you really from? Do you know all your mob? Do you? And do you speak your language? Have you got connections to country? You're not from here though. You sit down and shut up. I'm older than you. You're mine, I changed your nappies, so you just need to check that out. I don't care how many letters you've got behind your name. Or the other step is, okay, young fella, I'm the real black academic here, you're the wannabe. And there's all these scales of inviting in or excluding out of the perceived places of power and the places of going into change. So, and in Aboriginal, in Torres Strait Islander context, we do this to each other, as well as authorising and deauthorising white people that want to actually engage in the space as well, or want to look at ways of doing and being. Yeah.
And I guess what we experienced, what I've experienced is the other side, which is the kind of white mafia in this space, that when we started to say, right, we want to run this initiative, we want to do this work, a lot of the conversations with other organisations we were seeking to partner with were, well, are you the right people to do this? Who are you to do this work? And not necessarily as overtly as that, it was all a lot more subtle. And they're good questions to ask, and we were asking ourselves those questions long and hard. And I saw how easy it was to basically not do it and step out the way and go, well, no, we're not an Indigenous organisation. Who are we as a mainstream white organisation to do this work? And we had to, again, really explore that. But what I was conscious of, the very subtle and obvious ways that the messages we were getting about what are your credentials to work in this space. And I can remember having to be really specific and clear, and that what helped us through that was being really clear on purpose, was that we were not running an Indigenous leadership program. We were working on how do we work with Indigenous leaders to help them adapt and to lead in their systems. And there was a clear difference. We weren't going in there with any cultural context. They brought the context. And I think being clear on purpose and role really helped us. The dynamics of that, of being a white woman in this dynamic with an accent from Scotland, what legitimizes me to work in this space? What authority do I have to work with this group of very powerful black leaders in the room who are doing this incredible work at a national level? And I really had to get over myself and authorize that I had something to offer, but to hold that really lightly, that here's something that we think's useful. Do what you want with it. If it's useful, great. If it helps progress, fine. But what I didn't expect was, I guess, the dynamic we went into about really seeing that the way forward was by learning together. Make that difference, and then say, yeah, we may not be the right people, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to have a go. We see that there's a need. And
the purpose morphed along the way, to be fair, as well. It morphed into how do we go into this intercultural space, and in this intercultural space to actually be agents of change as black, white leaders and white leaders. We weren't trying to convert each other. We could have put these fellas through the most crucial cultural awareness, but it would have taken too long. We don't expect white fellas to fully get it, and if it looks like we've got holes, and if you're deconstructing us from the chairs, they'll probably stand out. You think, oh, but I reckon they don't know about this, and you're dead right. But that's not the point. In the collaborative space, it's not having everything nailed. It's about entering. It's about going into that space. Much like the conversations that we saw yesterday, it's about saying, well, what do we know, and how do we bring that to the space to actually create another destiny?